Good morning, everyone. I'm just going to wait for some people to tune in. As you're tuning in, definitely share this video. This is a continuation of yesterday's live. I'm going to give you like a little debrief of yesterday before we get into today. Leave a comment in the comment box. Say hi. Let me know where you're logged in from. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. 2 more days to the weekend or 3 more days to the weekend. So say hi in the comment box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And then share this video. I said the TikTok has the WhatsApp option. Share with your friends on WhatsApp so they can join us live, or share with your timeline on Facebook so they can join us live. Same thing on YouTube, just so that if there are people who need to learn about this, they can learn about it. So if you're joining me for the very first time, my name is Aisha Chidoe. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based out here in Orlando, Florida. We have offices here in Orlando and a satellite office in Atlanta, but we represent clients in all 50 states. So regardless of what state you live in, if you are looking to immigrate to the United States, and you have a family immigration matter, we'll be happy to assist you. Our phone number here is 407-995-6567. It's also scrolling through on the ticker. For those of you on TikTok, you can see it in my profile. And also, you can send us a text on WhatsApp. It's 404-333-8751, and leave your number so somebody can call you back to schedule you for a consultation. Good morning, Favor Carrie. Good morning, Kosi. Where are you guys tuning in from? Favor Carrie, I know you're tuning in from New York. For the rest of you, you can just comment and let us know where you're tuning in from. So today I want to just talk about, or continue my conversation that I started to discuss yesterday about establishing the necessary evidence that's needed to win a VAWA case. Again, if you didn't watch yesterday's live, a quick brief explanation of what VAWA is. VAWA is a petition that certain types of abusers can file to obtain their green card by themselves if the person that's abusing them is not able to do it for them. So for instance, if you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and they're extremely toxic, they're extremely cruel to you, abusive to you psychologically, emotionally, physically, you can self-petition by yourself. And this is one of the few areas of law that even if you cross the border, doesn't exempt you from adjusting your status. You know, a normal marriage-based case, you won't be able to file an adjustment of status if you cross the border. If you came here on a C1, visa or crewman visa, you wouldn't be able to adjust your status here. But this is one area of law that if you are in one of the situations of extreme cruelty, you'll be able to adjust your status in the United States without having to leave America to file your petition. You'll be able to stay here, get your work permit while your case is pending, and now they're giving the 2-year work permits instead of 1-year work permit. So that's nice, for most people, because it saves you the inconvenience of having to constantly renew your work permit. So if your spouse is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and is doing this to you, you could qualify. So we would have to evaluate you. The same applies to you if you're a child and your step parent or your parent is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder and they're doing this to you. So for children, usually you want to be under 21 years old. If you're over 21 but under 25, usually if we can show that one of the reasons why you were not able to submit this petition on time is due to the extreme cruelty of that parent, you will still be able to submit your petition. The other category of people that this applies to is parents. So if you cross the border and you have a 21-year-old here in America that's a U.S. citizen, that's cruel to you, that's mean to you. Talks to you anyhow, makes you feel bad about yourself, all this other stuff. Let us evaluate you and see if you qualify. So those are the people that fall into the VAWA category. So, I talked about the bare basics, for a typical VAWA application, where one, you have to show relationship status, which you and that person that you're seeing is extremely cruel to you. You have to show cohabitation. Cohabitation means living together. Even if you didn't live together for a long time and you lived together for a couple of weeks, here and there, and then you came back, go, come, we can accumulate the entire thing to be able to determine what the right, what's, length of time you guys live together. And if you have other evidence showing that. You also have to be a person of good moral character. So anybody over 14, you have to show that you don't have any criminal records that are considered crimes of moral turpitude, especially in the last 3 years. Because if you have that, you won't be able to qualify. Because with this one, we have to run an FBI fingerprinting or get a police clearance before we submit it. Donna says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good morning, Chan from New York. Thank you so much for tuning in. I see your questions on TikTok. I'll get to them once I finish. I'm talking about this. So now let's talk about abuse, and extreme cruelty, and what I was talking about yesterday, which is the necessary evidence to show abuse. That's what I'm focusing on right now, because a lot of times people say, oh my goodness, I didn't keep track of this, or this, my abuser didn't leave a paper trail, or because they're so controlling, they did this on purpose so that, I wouldn't have any documentation of what it is that they're doing, or if I try to call the cops, they told me, if you call the cops, I will call ICE and you will be deported, or I will lie and I will scream and say you are the aggressor. And they will believe me because I'm a US citizen. So that's what we're talking about. So the first thing I would like to say is that what is considered evidence is any credible evidence. So let's break that down into layman terms. That means any evidence that you can show that this happened. What that means is that one evidence or the other does not disqualify you. So, for instance, if you don't have a police report, that is not going to disqualify you. First of all, a lot of immigrants are scared to call the cops when they don't have papers because they feel that they're going to be arrested. They feel that they're going to be deported. So the odds are that more people than not don't have police reports. If you have a police report, great. We can submit that. But if you don't have a police report, it does not disqualify you. So keep that in mind. That's number one. Number two, if you don't have physical abuse happening, and a lot of your abuse is mental, emotional, psychological, like, it's in your head, like you're the crazy one. Having a psychological evaluation is very helpful. A psychological evaluation is where you go to a licensed therapist and they evaluate your mental state based on what you've told them is happening in your marriage. And usually they will assess you to be able to say, okay, Aisha is dealing with this, she's dealing with PTSD, or Jane Doe is dealing with anxiety or depression or suicidal ideations because of her marriage. And when we submit that report on your behalf, those strengthen your case. Again, for those of you tuning in, please say hi in the comment box. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comment. I have time today, so I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. And if you've not liked us or followed us on Facebook before, like us and follow us, guys, and share this video so other people can, benefit from this, or, you can be notified when we go live. So we've covered psychological evaluations. We've covered police report. Other things that you can, so, sometimes I get people say, my spouse did not add me, on any of their financial documents, like they are so controlling, like down to when I go grocery shopping, they want a list of my receipts. When I buy stuff, I have to hide it in the car just so that, my spouse doesn't know. So let alone adding me on any financial stuff. They're not going to add me on the lease. They're not going to add me to the bank account. So in times like that, it is really critical that that is documented in your declaration. And for those of you who don't know what a declaration is your personal statement. It's your statement of what happened in your marriage. And this is not a time to be like, oh yeah, my husband makes me sad, it makes me feel. This is a time to bear it all. Do not leave anything on the table. every single thing that your spouse has ever done, or your parent has ever done to you, or your child has ever done to you, your declaration is a time to tell it all. Because you have to think in the mind of an officer, when these people are looking at this, all they are going on in making that decision is everything that you've told them in that declaration. So you have to communicate your emotional state, how you're feeling, when that person is doing that to you, whether it's fear, flight or fear, or whatever it is, what all the different things, I know that culturally for a lot of people, coming from different countries, they're not as free as Americans. Americans, we can share everything that's going on with us, but other countries are more guarded. And, it takes a little bit of time to trust people to share that. But this is not the time. You cannot be guarded. There's no shame in you seeking your freedom. And because there's no shame in you seeking your freedom, you have to be able to communicate to these officers who are going to adjudicate your case what has happened to you, so that they can make a decision. Because if you don't communicate that to them, they cannot empathize with you, because if you don't have much in your declaration, they can't empathize with you. So you got to get everything out. When you're being asked what happened, this, that, don't sugarcoat anything. If your husband hit you or your wife slapped your face, don't just say, well, he only did it once, he doesn't do it, he slapped you. Say whatever it is they did, and stuff like that. And then also, I know that culturally for a lot of people, certain things are okay in their culture, or not that it's okay, but it's kind of like, well, it's just what it is, so you never assume that it's just what it is. It's best to talk to your counsel to know, is this going to be considered abuse, in America? Because remember, we're going based on American standards. And is this extremely cruel behavior? Is this acceptable? So that is also, so your declaration actually to me is the most critical piece of your case. So it has to be really strong and come in, as the song goes, it has to come in hot. Okay. Another good credible evidence is having affidavits from your friends or your family. If you've ever confided in anyone about what you're dealing with your husband, have that person write you in an affidavit. Make sure that you're writing authentic from the heart affidavits, for your friends. If you, the viewer right now, are one of the people that are going to write affidavits for your friends, make sure you're not copying somebody else's affidavit or getting a generic affidavit from online, because it's not going to be sincere, so they know that. If John, Jane, and Jack, all your affidavits look the same, all the paragraphs look the same, they're going to be like, this is not authentic. These are all just the same affidavits. So make sure that your affidavit from your friends and family are authentic and they're truly communicating what you have told them or what they have witnessed or seen in your marriage. Okay. Another good credible evidence is photographs. If you have photographs, if your spouse is an aggressive person, a violent person, when they get angry, breaking chairs, breaking tables, throwing your clothes out of the house, burning clothes, whatever, take pictures of that. Take pictures of those things. I know that a lot of people do recordings, but recordings are not great because we can't really send them to you. We cannot send them to USCIS. So if you do recordings, one of the things you can do is you can screenshot them as they're playing, so you can get the live active action of whatever your spouse is doing. And you can also use some of the transcription websites to have them transcribe it into a typewritten document, so that we are able to, send that based on what it is. Same thing with WhatsApp voice notes. And then sometimes you have spouses that are negative. They will go on Facebook and blast you, single, free, I can't stand my, my spouse or whatever. Screenshot those things, save all those things. If your spouse is being unfaithful to you, and hanging out with a bunch of women, a bunch of men, or whatever it is, screenshot those bad boys, right? If you have one of those side pieces harassing you, sending you calls, text messages, save those things. Basically, do not delete stuff. That's basically what I'm saying to you. Don't delete anything. Don't delete anything. No matter how angry you are at the person, like, I want to erase them from my life. Please do not do that. Okay. Let's see what else are good credible evidence. And then same thing, text messages, WhatsApp messages. For those of you who change your phone, go look in your iCloud, on your Apple iCloud. Go looking, if you have Android, go look in your Google Photos. Go see if it saved some of your pictures that you have, if you're struggling with that. Let me see, what else can I say is good credible evidence? Then, okay, yeah, if you go to church, or if you go to the mosque, or if you go to if you're Jewish, whatever it is, whoever your religious leader is, whether it's, pastor, an imam, whoever, if they have counseled you and your spouse, or you have come to them for counseling, you can ask them to write a letter on your behalf based on that, or even give you, or even give your attorney, like a summary of what it is that they counseled you on. That will be good evidence. Same thing if you go to the doctor, the regular doctor, like you go to the ER, because a lot of times stress can manifest itself physically, meaning you can be stressed and you're not understanding why your blood pressure is so high. You're not understanding why you're having heart palpitations. You're not understanding why your heart is racing, but those are all signs of stress and anxiety. And if you're going to the emergency room for that, or saying, okay, TikTok being rude. Thank you though, for your comment, Mr. OG Tyrone too. As I was saying, sorry for the interruption. So like anybody that has basically evaluated your health or your mental state, those are good, credible evidence to provide. I'm probably missing some right now because I'm trying to, go through this, in my head, but that's a good start. So try to see what you have amongst those things, and that will at least get you in the path. Because remember, it's not one or the other. Get as many stuff as you can. So I'm going to just scroll through and answer some questions and say hi to more of my followers. Emeka Coley, good morning from California. Donna says, good morning. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. Hi, Dries from Maryland. Good job you're doing. Thank you so much. Macedona, thank you for always tuning into my live from Washington State. Bill, thank you for tuning in from Minnesota. Let's see. Dean asked, for a citizenship interview, can a lawyer be there? Absolutely. You should have a lawyer to any interview. Let me tell you guys, interviews can go wrong, or you could have a new officer who does not know what the hell he's doing or she is doing. And if you don't have somebody advocate for you, you can ask my client. We actually had something similar happen last week where we had an officer who actually didn't know. And my client, if she went herself, would have walked out that door and not done her interview because she would have believed what he said. But sometimes you got to have the lawyer to fight in there for you and say, bring the supervisor in here because this is wrong. You're not interpreting the laws correctly. This is what the law says. That interview must happen. And that is what a lawyer does for you. So granted, a lot of times when we lawyers come in there, we're coming in for emotional support, but we're coming in to be alert for anything that goes wrong. So not every time I go into an interview going to fight, because I trust that when I have coached and gone over everything with my client for interview preparation before a client, that they're going to go there and ace it. But sometimes you're going to go in there and an officer is going to badger your clients. So you as an attorney have to be able to step in there and say, no, you cannot do that. Or no, you shouldn't ask that question. Or no, that is not what the law says. This is the rule. And that is why you should always take an attorney. And citizenship interviews, I want to talk about citizenship for a second here. Let me tell you guys something. Citizenship, it's probably one of the most easy, most straightforward forms, but citizenship is the most difficult petition to get approved. People underestimate what it takes to become a citizen. To me, it's even easier getting a green card because any little blemish on anything that you've ever written to immigration, anything, if you're a male and you've not paying child support or whatever, or you have owed back taxes, or you owe back child support, or you didn't register for selective service. All those things could be what separates you from becoming a U.S. citizen. And a lot of times people go into think, oh, it's not a big deal, and then they come out getting that denial. So Dean, definitely take a lawyer with you. So Emeka says, I intend on filing VAWA, but don't know if to file along with a green card or to file VAWA alone. Please advise. If you want legal advice, definitely call my office, 407-995-6567. And I will be evaluating you to even make sure that you qualify for VAWA and to determine if you should be filing an adjustment of status application with your VAWA or what you need to be doing, okay? So Savi says, have you ever come to Boston? I'd like to have some girls time and talk about our communities and for others. Well, no, I actually don't come to Boston that often, even though I do have a lot of clients in Boston. But, you know, with COVID, we're not traveling that much right now with this Delta variant. But, you know, if I'm ever in Boston, definitely. Let's see what else. So Chan says, I filed VAWA in July 2019. And I applied for a renewal of my EAD in December. I still haven't received a receipt or EAD card as of yet. Is this normal? No, it's not normal at all. It's not normal at all. So normally you should have received a receipt if you submitted it to the right address. And even if you've not received the EAD card, your receipt based on your pending VAWA should act as your continuation of your work permit until they give you your work permit, because they know the work permit has taken time. You know, it's taken like 6 months to get here. So that's a concern. So the question would be, do you have proof that you mailed it? Do you have your tracking? You know, start there. If you use USPS, you're probably out of luck because USPS will not hold on to any history of mails after 4 months online. But if you use FedEx or one of the other things, you might want to look into your tracking to make sure they actually received it. But you should definitely have a receipt. Ariana says, regards from New York. Thank you. So somebody on TikTok says, good morning. I'm married to a green card holder and in status. How soon can I file for AOS? So that is great that you are in status. And guess what? Right now, the visa bulletins are active as of for August. So anytime from now to August, pending that you didn't just enter into the country. Generally, if you just entered into the country with a visa, you don't want to just file for an adjustment of status like you came in the country next week, you're filing for adjustment of status, because there's going to be a presumption of fraud and misrepresentation. So you always want to wait at least 90 days from entry before you put in an application for your petition, so that they don't say, well, you did always have immigrant intent, you just lied to the Customs and Border Patrol, you know, and stuff like that. But if you're past the 90 days, you definitely want to try and file in August, because we don't know what before the end of August, because we don't know what's going to happen, you know, in September. So you're one of those exceptions. And for those who don't understand what that means, generally, if you're married to a green card holder cannot do an adjustment of status application, which is the green card, work permit, and travel permit portion of your application for you if you're a visa overstay. If you're a U.S. citizen, even if you're a visa overstay, they can do it, and they will forgive that overstay pending you entered into the country legally with a visa initially. Well, there's some exceptions to the visa, but if you're a green card holder, usually they don't consider you immediate family relative, and you usually have to wait. But right now, visas are available, so these change every month. So for this person that I just answered, visas are available, so she'll be able to do it if she meets the requirement. So let's see. Somebody says, how do I obtain a 2-year work permit? I'm in the Bahamas. In order for you to obtain a 2-year work permit, first of all, you cannot obtain a work permit outside of the U.S. You know, you have to be in the U.S. to get a work permit, and something has to be giving you permission to get that work permit. There has to be an underlying petition. You might want to look into H-2B programs. Maybe there's some in your country that allow, you know, citizens of your country come here and work for somebody under H-2B or under J-1. So people often use these to come in here and work, okay? Somebody asked, will I receive a receipt after submitting evidence for a 10-year green card? If you're saying that you got a request for additional evidence and you were then sent you then sent the response to the request for additional evidence, the answer is no, you're not going to receive a receipt, but you can go online and track your case and see if they have accepted it. Sometimes though, the online portal is not very good at updating that they've received it. So one of the things you can do is, if it's been a long time, you can also try and call, and see if they have it. Okay. Somebody says, can I get a driver's license and state ID with my work permit? Yes. If you've received your work permit and your social security card, yes, you can get a driver's license and a work permit. Okay, so Bill is asking, I don't know if I understand your question. So let me see. Do you mean I have a receipt, but they've not called me yet for an interview since February 11th until now? What kind of petition do you have, Bill? So your interview, being called for an interview depends on the kind of petition that you've been the kind of petition you filed. But really, if you filed in February 11th, you're really not. You need to wait. There's such a delay right now that the people that are getting called are few and far between and just incredibly lucky. But probably for almost all application types, you're still very well within the timeline. Somebody said, is there a fee to renew your work permit, and how long should you do it before it expires? Okay, so if you paid a filing fee when you filed your initial I-485 adjustment of status, there is no fee to renew your work permit. And generally, it's always good, depending on if you're a VAWA applicant or a marriage-based applicant. I always say the answer varies, but you don't want to wait more than 4 months before it expires to renew it. So you want to try and do it at least by 120 days. Try and get that done. And you're going to send new have to take new passport photographs again to send it. Okay, let me answer some of these questions here. Somebody is asking, how much is the appeal fee? What appeal? What appeal are you talking about? So you need to be more specific. Sorry guys, I'm just looking through TikTok just to see any other questions I have. Okay, so Kosi says, my cousin is an asylee and now married 5 months, but his citizen wife doesn't want to help him adjust quickly and apply for a travel permit. Can I advise him to keep convincing his wife to adjust for him through marriage, or just file VAWA? So Kosi, the first question is your cousin an asylee, or they have a pending asylum? Because those are two different things. If they have a pending asylum, it means that they don't have any legal status in this country, and then your question will apply, and I can answer that. If your cousin already has an asylum petition that has been approved and granted, they don't need their spouse. After a year, they can file for it by themselves for their own green card based on an approved asylum. So it depends on what your spouse is, but I am going to assume that your cousin is not does not have an approved asylum and they have a pending case. Now, you don't just file VAWA because your spouse is not trying to file for you or do it quickly. You do it because your spouse is extremely cruel to you and your spouse is abusive. And the only way to answer that question is for your cousin to call me, and I can evaluate that she meets the requirements of VAWA. If she meets the requirements of VAWA and it's a viable option, I will certainly let her know that she meets it. So you can have her call me, Kosi. It's 407-995-6567. Okay, let me see. Sandra says, hi, Aisha, good morning. I have my 20-year-old daughter in Jamaica. What to do with your green, oh my goodness, I do not understand these questions. You said, so you have a 20-year-old daughter in Jamaica. I have what to do with your green card. Do you have a green card? Is that what you're asking me? If you have a green card, you can file for your child under 21, as long as they're unmarried, if that is the question that you are asking. Okay, guys, so if there are no more questions, I am going to jump off the live. I am going to try to be on here again tomorrow, hopefully with a good topic or just frequently asked questions. I usually come live between 9 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. on most weekdays, except Wednesdays. On Wednesdays, I come live at 11 o'clock. I might be running late, but generally between 11 to 11:10, I'm live. So you can definitely bookmark that or put it in your calendar if you want to tune in so you know when I'm going live. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.